Welcome back, y'all. I wanted to say thank you to everybody who come up and spoke to me and Jacob, and the day that Megan and Maggie were there too. We met all y'all at the Old Threshers reunion in Denton, North Carolina. We had a great time down there. But I guess this morning, y'all probably saw in Megan's last video, we've got a pile of sweet corn coming in.
Yep.
So I think we're going to check it and probably go ahead and start picking some of it. This is probably one of the prettiest sweet corn patches we've had in several years. If anybody new to sweet corn, right there is an ear that's perfectly ready. You see how those silks at the end are completely dead? That thing is ready to be pulled off of there. Ah!
Daddy.
It's a good looking ear of corn. I believe that one's ready. Feels good and firm.
Go get it from me. We'll bring it to the wagon.
So I guess we'll get to digging and see how much we can come up with in here. I believe that one's ready. It ain't nothing no better than that sound. That one looks like it's ready.
I know you've been waiting, patiently waiting.
This right here is my favorite thing out of the garden.
What'd you say, baby? I know it is. I know it is.
That one shows to be ready, but that's a little ear.
They can't all be winners.
And there's a good fat ear. That thing is thick feeling.
I know. If we don't have but a few, though, we can just put it in the refrigerator and eat on it the next few days.
Oh man, there's gonna be several out this row right here ready.
Is it?
Yeah. Let's go to the next row. A lot of people, when they pick sweet corn, like to let it all mature at once and pick it all at one time. But I ain't never been able to do that because our corn always seems to come in at different times. Like, so you have to pick it in stages.
I mean, I guess you could. You're just gonna have some old and some young.
Yeah, if you did that, you'd have some really old ears and some ears that aren't quite filled out all at once. We're gonna get quite a bit in here today, though. I can tell you that. You're keeping it all nice and organized there.
This little wagon works perfect when we're picking sweet corn.
That it does.
I think I am gonna make some pickled peaches. I found a recipe in that cookbook that was mailed to me, you know, several months back that I've enjoyed so good.
Yeah.
It sounds really good because you know, I've heard through the years that pickled peaches are really good, and I've just never made any, never eat any.
I don't think I've ever eaten a pickled peach.
I think that's when we get done here, I'm gonna go to peeling some peaches because they gotta sit for a while before you actually can them.
How long do they gotta sit?
Well, it says overnight, but I figure if I do it this morning, I can do that this evening.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I like it not all coming in at one time, though.
Yeah, because you don't have to set aside a bunch of time to do it.
It's easier on the preparer.
Right. You know, sweet corn's one of those things that when it comes in and it's ready, it don't wait on you. I'll have to say that Honey Select waits on you longer than most varieties do. There's a lot of varieties, like, when it's ready, you better pick it that day,
Like
and you don't leave it no longer.
Like that Silver Queen over there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Silver Queen's one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, just remember that, y'all. If you're new to sweet corn, you've never grown sweet corn, when you have it get ready, I don't care what your plans are. You better be working corn.
The corn doesn't care what your plans are.
That's right. Yeah, the corn doesn't care what your plans are. You need to be fixing corn. But I think we're good. I believe we should. I believe that's good enough for today. Let's go shuck this and see what it looks like.
I let Andy go through and get all the corn because I am not a very good corn picker.
I'm a connoisseur.
Yeah.
Hey, I think corn, like I've said before, corn is my favorite to grow of any crop at all.
Any kind of corn.
Yeah, any kind of corn.
We got sweet corn, we got field corn, we got popcorn.
Yep, corn is my favorite. And the other good thing is when you're shucking it like this right here, oh man, that's perfect. When you're shucking it like this, pretty much any farm animal will clean up the shucks for you. So you could take this out to the pigs. If you've got goats, check that out. That is one beautiful ear of corn. Nothing at all has been sprayed on that corn. The only thing that corn's had on it was fertilizer. Yeah.
They can even eat the big thing right here. They can eat that.
Yeah. I mean, we do have some worms though. Corn earworm is probably the biggest pest problem we ever have with corn.
Todd's eating the fire out of it while he's eating fire on mine.
Gosh, that's pretty. That is pretty. What is it?
Look at
Yep, that's a corn worm.
she eat it. That'd be good for the chickens.
Yeah, the chickens would love that.
Yeah. Is that still up here?
Corn worm right there.
I bet the chickens will really love that.
Corn earworms are a problem for us, but they never turn out to be like total devastation to your corn. However, if you do want to treat for corn earworms, you can spray something like some spinosad or something like that. Just as soon as your corn starts to tassel, you'll spray it right on where it's going to shoot up the ear out of the stalk. Yeah, so Megan seen, where'd you see this at?
I
Facebook?
don't know, I think I saw it on Facebook. I saw it somewhere.
If you're going to cut it off the cob, to leave that right there and it'll kind of act like a handle. So I guess that's what we're going to try doing here.
I don't know if she's gonna put that in.
So that's about 2 dozen so far.
With mine is thrown as chocolate.
Oh, I see. Oh, that one broke by itself.
Okay.
Well, this first picking of Honey Select has definitely not disappointed, has it?
No, it's beautiful.
So once we get done with all the Honey Select, we'll start cutting the stalks down and either give them, like they'll go to the pigs, they'll go to the cows, they may come to the horses. But I always like to cut my stalks and feed that to my animals. I don't know if y'all can see him or not. Jacob's down there mowing grass. He talked about that the whole way home yesterday, and he said, "Man, we've been gone so long, Daddy. I'm gonna have a mess to mow when I get back home." He got started on it this morning. He's down there going to town. Much as he acts like he dreads it sometime, I really think he enjoys mowing.
Oh yeah, he rides around, listens to the radio.
I know. One more.
Maggie, you want the last one?
Yeah.
Okay, I figured you did.
There's a worm. That's a good size one.
I've only found like 2 that had worms in them.
I had a few that had it right in the end, and then I had one that was right in the center here. Well, y'all got your morning snack. We got us some lunch and some stuff to can right here. Is that what you're gonna do? You gonna can it or freeze it?
What do you want me to? Which one would you rather me do?
I liked it both ways, so it's
'Cause
up
I like
to
to
you.
use the frozen corn as fried corn, and then the canned corn, I make the cream corn.
Yeah, I like it both ways. It's up to you. I just use my pocket knife.
I'm using mine like they got me that way.
Oh, this is like good. I don't know how many of them I'm actually gonna put in the box.
They are good.
A lot of them might end up in my belly.
Yeah, a lot of mine too. Can you hear me?
Yeah. That one there ain't quite right yet.
Yeah, some of them ain't. That's okay though.
The bottom half of it's perfect, but the top half is somewhat still hard.
I ate a couple of pigs this morning.
Did you?
Yeah.
That
For
was
breakfast?
Yep.
Yeah. When I get done my cereal, I have my kid.
This one right here looks so good. I think I'm actually going to eat it now.
I thought that wasn't right.
Is it good?
It's ripe enough to eat. Can't even hold to it. What I seen down there the other day, it surprised me. We've got this many without worm
No,
damage.
there's plenty of them.
I know.
There's plenty of edible ones.
I ate like 7 of them now.
Yeah, me and Maggie's eat a pile of them.
Ain't they juicy?
I know, Daddy. I thought we ate like 7 of them.
I mean, that's about the juiciest peaches ever.
God.
I froze a bunch yesterday.
Spider doesn't eat me yet.
So, I mean, I've done probably this many yesterday.
Did you? Ain't it amazing? Like once your fruit trees and stuff get established, your bushes and berries and all that, just how much you can get out of them with no effort at all.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah, these really didn't have no effort except for pruning them.
Yep. I mean, we really should have sprayed these things for the worms, but we're still getting a good harvest.
You just
even
have
though
to
we
cut
didn't.
the bad spots out of them. I
Yep.
mean,
But even when we get older and maybe not able to fool with as much garden as we do now.
I can fold it for you.
oh, is that?
Oh, can you? Well, maybe you will.
I mean,
These things will still give us something.
Oh,
They might
yeah.
not be the harvest they give us now. But, you know, look at all these old home sites and stuff that's got apple trees and pear trees and stuff. And, I mean, they're loaded every year with nobody there to take care of them.
I haven't put none in the pocket.
You ain't put none in the pot yet.
My gosh.
Pretty good, ain't they?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I got me about half my pot full of peaches here. It was probably 20-ish peaches, something like that. So now what we're gonna do, according to the recipe that I'm following, probably should bring that over here. If you have a chance, if you can find this book anywhere, a sweet viewer sent it to me, and I've marked some of my favorite recipes that I've found in here so far. But this is what I'm following here. Let's see. We're gonna need a tablespoon of whole cloves in this, and this will be filtered out. That's gonna be about this whole thing. No, it's not. I'm gonna filter these out so they don't stay in there, but you can use also like a little spice bag. I don't have any of those. So we can filter those out. We need that, and we need 5 cinnamon sticks. I'm very excited about these because honestly I didn't realize that pickled peaches had these spices in them like that. And so I bet these are going to be killer. Killer, killer. So 4 cups of sugar. 2 cups of vinegar. All right, and we're going to cook that. We're going to cook that down until our peaches start to look kind of see-through. We're going to boil it for just a little bit. So my peaches have gotten tender per the directions in the recipe, and it looks really good. So now what we're going to do is I'm just going to let this sit. I'm going to let it cool down a little bit, and then I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to let this sit till late this evening, and we will make our pickled peaches. I gave them a little bit of a taste test just a few minutes ago, and they were superb. Tastes like nothing I've ever tasted before. It was very, very, very good. Very good. So for lunch, I'm going to make me a tomato sandwich. This will be the how-to part of the cooking video today. You have to start off with Duke's mayonnaise. And you can either toast your bread or just leave it the way it is. I do it both ways. I change it up. One day I'll toast it, and one day I will do it like this. So depending on who you ask, some people peel their tomatoes, some people don't. I don't. Let's see if I can get me a good slice out of this lopsided Cherokee purple here. So we're just going to fill up our slice of bread. Got you any bacon? That'll make it good too. But I like it just like that right there. And I will eat these all summer long till I'm just plumb tired of them. I don't want to see them no more. And then by this time next year, I'll say, boy, I can't wait to have another one. And then put you plenty of salt on it. Salt and pepper is what makes your tomato sandwich. It will make you or break you. Good mayonnaise and good salt and pepper. A tomato sandwich and fresh corn on the cob. Now that right there is the best meal you're gonna get. That's a high dollar, $100 plate right there.
That ear of corn's a $100 ear of corn.
Well, we just had that wonderful homegrown lunch. And for those of y'all curious, no, I did not eat a tomato sandwich. And I just don't know if I'm going to do that yet or not. Anyways, y'all know that's a behind the scenes story. For those of y'all who don't know, I don't eat tomatoes. I can't stand the thought of a tomato. However, I eat everything made out of tomatoes. I just don't eat tomatoes. Anyways, what I'm going to work on now is putting these raised beds out here, the new raised beds. I'm going to put them to bed for the summer, and I may not plant anything back in these things till next spring. I don't know yet. So what I'm going to do is show you how I'm going to put them to bed. These three right here are the ones I'm going to work on today. These need to be done. I've still got some more Bermuda grass I need to pull out of those. But I've already got the irrigation and all that over to the side of these. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with these. I'm going to tell you, this is something I was never really big on. A couple years ago, I was watching a video of a guy who was using cardboard in his raised beds. And I just honestly, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I always thought using cardboard was somewhat of a joke. Because most people are using it for weed suppression, and I guess it can help suppress some weeds. But the way I always looked at it was cardboard was gonna rot out. And how in the world is something that's gonna rot going to help suppress weeds? Well, that's not why I'm doing this. I still got some stuff I need to get off of these. But I'm not putting this down to suppress weeds. I guess it might help suppress some of that Bermuda grass coming up through there. But what I learned was cardboard really draws in earthworms. And earthworms is something that I did not see a bunch of in these beds when we were cleaning them out. And earthworms are extremely beneficial to your garden soil. Now I try to get all the tape and stuff off of them that I can. I mean, let's be honest, I don't have a ton of patience for this kind of stuff. So As long as all the shiny clear tape is off of them, I'm good, because that won't break down. But most of these, especially this tape Amazon uses now, these are all Amazon boxes, but a lot of this tape Amazon uses now is kind of like paper-based tape, and it'll break down. So if I don't get it all off, to me it's okay anyways. But I like to get all the shipping labels off because they're somewhat like plastic. So there's that bed. Now I want my cardboard layer there on the soil. I want the cardboard touching the soil. Next, I'm going to be using this comfrey here. We have so many people ask, what do y'all do with all that comfrey we see planted? And I'm not going to act like I'm an expert on comfrey, because I'm not. But one thing I have found that it works excellent for is letting it grow up big and tall like that right there, and using it as like a green mulch over top of this cardboard. I know comfrey's got a bunch of all kinds of things it can be used for, but this is the one thing that we do use it for. Some people make a lot of stuff out of comfrey, but I can tell you, like right now, like I cut this back like I'm cutting right now, all the way to the ground. It will be growed back out in a week or two, and you'll never even know I cut it. So now we take this, scatter it out over the beds. So that right there is probably going to be enough. I'm not actually after a good thick layer of mulch from the comfrey. I just want a good layer of it laying there to add something green to this, so when my earthworms do start coming up and eating that cardboard, they'll also have that good layer of comfrey there they can eat on too. So what I'm going to do next is probably the most important part. So I have a whole lot of hay that got wet. Well, it's the hay that we use for our mulch over there in the main garden. And what was left of that bale was left sitting over there. And it got wet and moldy and kind of nasty. And why I say this is the most important part is because this right here is what's going to hold the moisture to keep all of that right there from drying out. This is almost like a do it and forget it kind of thing. However, if we don't continue to get the rain we're getting, I'll have to water this, because it's very important that this doesn't dry out. And that's the reason I'm leaving my irrigation hooked up, and I'm not really going to take it up just yet, is because I may end up having to string the irrigation back out over this to water it. Now right now we don't have any rain in the forecast for the next day or two. So just to kind of mat all this down and pack it down, I'll come back with the water hose and give it a good shower. Now you don't have to use hay. Hay's just what I've got. You can use leaves, you can use wood chips or anything like that. Especially since this is somewhat of a long-term deal here. Just trying to get this compost that we bought from the store, and I'm not saying nothing bad about it, because this was some great compost. I mean, for store-bought compost, I don't think it gets any better than this. But what I am saying is it wasn't up to my par. So like if it had been our homemade compost, we would have had a lot more worm activity and everything like that in it. And it just didn't have that. I know Megan's going to be happy. I've been holding on to these boxes on the back porch for a while, trying to accumulate enough to do this with.
Alright, the next thing on my list is I have got to get these carrots canned. You saw us harvest these carrots last week, I think. And anyways, I cut up most of them. Some of them we eat fresh, but I cut up most of them and I'm going to can them. So I've done carrots 2 different ways. I've canned them and I've froze them, like lay them on a cookie sheet and let them flash freeze and then put them in a Ziploc bag to just get out as I needed them. What I have found for me personally is I like them better canned, just because carrots do take a while when they cook to get soft. And I'm after convenience here, y'all. When I can, I like having our food that we grow here, but I like to make it convenient for myself. And the only way you're going to learn that is to just do it and pay attention year to year as to what works best for you. Because just because canning them is the best way that we like them, you may like the freshness that they keep when you freeze them. But anyways, like I said, I like them canned. So that's what we're going to do today. So I'm just going to go through, I'm going to can them in pints. I don't think I'm going to have too many jars. I brought 5 up here, but we'll see. I may have more than I think. But these pints seem to work out perfect. I mainly use them for soups. Or, you know, we'll eat them as a side. I did do some candied carrots last year. I think we're going to have more than I thought. I did some candied carrots last year. They were pretty good. But I like adding the sugar and stuff. If I want that kind of carrot, I like adding that after the fact. I think they were a little better if I added them after I had opened them for the day to cook them. So we're just going to do these this way. Now, when you're canning, especially if you're newer to canning, which, heck, I wouldn't be what I would consider newer. I've been canning for the last 12 years, not longer than that. I know a lot of y'all have been doing a lot longer than that. But it's always good to have a good resource to know the correct times, the correct processes for canning anything. This book right here, they're getting harder and harder to find, but this is my favorite book, and the Ball may have made a new one. I've got the Big Ball canning book, the newer one. That sweet viewer sent it to me, and it's great. It's got a lot of good recipes in it, but this one is just very basic and simple, and it's the Ball Guide to Preserving. So it's not just canning. It talks about freezing, fermenting, any way to pretty much preserve food. This is my favorite. So you can tell it is well used, and it's so funny because you can tell the pages that I use. I always got dehydrated in here too. You can tell the pages that I use the most because they'll be like stuck together or like have tomatoes spilt on them or something, you know. Let's find carrots here. We're going to process these under 10 pounds of pressure for 25 minutes. So about like green beans. That's not too bad. But I'm going to have more than I thought.
As far as the comfrey goes, y'all, like I said, I'm not an expert on comfrey. And I'm not going to try to tell you all the benefits and reasons you need to be growing it and all that, just because it's not my... I don't know enough about it to be that way. But I learned about comfrey from Billy at Permapastures Farm on YouTube. And he's actually who I bought our original comfrey cuttings from, or comfrey crowns, comfrey roots, that's what it was. Root cuttings is what they send you. Send you just little bitty pieces of the root, and those will turn into a comfrey plant, which is pretty amazing. So don't plant comfrey somewhere you don't want comfrey. You better be planting it somewhere where it can stay. Pretty much everywhere you see comfrey growing around here come from our very first cuttings we got from Billy. I think we bought like 10 cuttings from Billy, and that has multiplied into probably 50 comfrey plants around here total. When I say you don't want to plant it somewhere where you don't want comfrey to grow, if I were to dig up this comfrey, the roots that's left in the ground will sprout out more comfrey. So I may think I dug this whole plant up, and really I didn't. If there's just one little teeny tiny root left in the ground, more comfrey is going to spread up from that. Oh no. Evidently there's a bee's nest out there somewhere. Where the heck that come from? Is it in there? I don't know. So now I'm gonna do the same thing to them two beds. Take me some comfrey, lay me out a thick layer of that, then cover it in hay. We also feed comfrey to the animals too. The pigs really like it. But comfrey, like any other green mulch, you know, that's gonna have some nutrient value to it, and it'll help build up that soil. I wanna show y'all something interesting here. That is turmeric. Turmeric overwintered in zone 7. Pretty cool, ain't it? We left some roots in the ground just to see what they do. Coming back. A whole lot of people say all the time in the comments, y'all sure do put a whole lot of work into everything. And kind of the way I see it is, while we are able to put the work into it, let's do it. Because if we get everything, just like this right here, this is a step that I could have got by and not done. I could have just left these beds empty. They'd have been just fine. But I decided to put this out on them because if I can improve this soil to the point that all I have to do is plant something into it, then that's less work in the future that I'm going to have to do.
So I use Redmond's real salt. I've used it for years and years. We really like the taste of it. And what it is it's just a plain salt. It can be used as a canning salt, cooking salt, or whatever. All you're looking for when you're canning is non-iodized, just plain salt. Most of your table salt is iodized. So, canning salt, plain salt, Redmond's real salt, you know. As long as it don't have iodine in it, you can use it. So we got that there. We're going to top everybody off with some water. And because we're pressure canning, we're not cranking down on these lids. You turn them until they start turning, and then give it one more little turn there. Because if you crank down on them too hard, your problem will be you can make your lids buckle. That don't always happen, but it can. Had to learn my lesson the hard way. And you do always have to have water in the bottom of your pressure canner. That's part of how it builds up pressure. So make sure you're following your directions that come with your pressure canner to know how much water to put in there. Alright. There we go. So what we'll do is we'll let that vent for about 10 minutes, which means steam is coming out of here where the weight goes. And then we'll put our weight on top and we'll pressure can this for 25 minutes and I'll show you what it looks like when it gets done.
I think cutting corn off satisfying.
I do like this little handy dandy tool. I guess I'm using it right.
It's working. Scrapes the cob, don't it?
Mm-hmm. The handle works out good. I think that would work good, period. Cutting it off the top.
It would. I got one right here. Got a little bit of a handle on it.
You have to let me know how it works. We'll have to remember that if we're going to cut it off to leave us a handle to hold on to.
It's just a habit to break it off.
Well, I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I can see how it's worked really good.
I had 9 pints of carrots.
Did you?
I feel
You
like
done canning?
they're in the canner right now as we speak.
9 pints.
I know. I thought that was pretty good.
It is.
I mean, no more than we eat them. That should be fine.
Your buddy's down here.
Between him and Jack, they won't leave me alone.
What breeze feels good. I'm just so amazed at how good it feels out here today.
Yeah, it does. It's the humidity. It ain't humid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do this.
How you doing, Toto?
Probably if I was taller, I could probably do it someday. Once you get you a row or two started, then that's when it really does good. Some people push them through a pound cake pan, but I've tried that a few times and I don't know, it didn't work out. The cobs were too big. It was too hard to push it through. Like, people on the internet make it look so easy. It was not that easy for me.
I think most things on the internet are made to look easy.
But now this little doohickey right here does pretty good. After you get the hang of it. See there?
Mm-hmm.
Some people make, heck, people do pickled corn.
Pickled corn?
Yeah,
I think I've heard of that.
they never eat none. People do corn salsa. That'd probably be pretty good. I don't know what you know.
I think there's all kinds of things to do with corn. Sweet corn itself is fairly relatively new, but corn's been around so long that there's no telling what you can do with corn.
That's true. People make corn cob jelly.
I've heard of that. That's a pretty good pan of corn.
Yeah, look, they got a,
I see yours is a lot more creamy
yeah.
than this over here is. You know, a whole lot of people take and do what you call milk the cob too.
Well, that's probably what this is doing.
Yeah, that's doing it. I ain't doing that. Supposed to scrape it like that.
Yeah, that's what I like doing it when I got a knife too. I'll scrape it like that. But you're getting pretty close, so you're probably getting a lot of that anyway. I should just bring my jars out here too.
Fill them up out here?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's why I need an outdoor kitchen, dear. Ain't this nice?
Well, when you get rich, you can build your own.
So give you the puppy dog eyes and say, "Hmm."
You ain't getting an outdoor kitchen out of me right now. I mean, I would love for you to have one too.
This is my outdoor kitchen.
Yeah, your outdoor kitchen is outdoors.
This painted, no, this is just the way that I've always found to be the easiest. Hear me?
Mm-hmm. How full?
About like there, probably good.
Well, there's gonna be more than I thought it was gonna be.
The older I get, the more I appreciate being able to have left.
Well, as you grow, the way you preserve things change.
Yep.
Because you find out the ways you like to use it and the ways you don't really use it.
The ways that, that work best for you. Well, I think we've eaten cob corn just for so long.
Well, doing it this way is
Like, so it's a good change.
Yeah.
This is a good change.
And Maggie absolutely loves it.
Loves canned corn.
Got 7 quarts. And from what
I
I can
couldn't have worked out no better.
From what I can see, it was a very good idea to do this outside. Look at the mess you made.
It always makes a mess when I do corn. That's why I was like, yeah. I learned from the crowd. I was like, that worked out really good doing it outside. But I got that other canner. I guess I could probably go ahead and get this started. That's probably what I'll do.
Have 2 going at once.
Yeah. Which my carrots will be done. Them carrots don't take no time. This, on the other hand,
Corn takes a while.
It's like an hour and a half. Yeah. Under pressure for an hour and a half, not counting the cool down and the warm up, and
Right.
that's the only bad thing.
Well, looks like we picked the right amount this morning. That's all right.
I'm tickled. I really wasn't expecting to be canning corn today.
Well, I wasn't expecting to get 7 quarts out of what we had here.
I know. I'm pretty tickled about that. So what I'll do now is I'll put salt and water, and it'll be.
Yeah, you'll do you.
I'll make my cream corn
When you cook it.
when I cook it after the fact. Yeah. Yep. Well, if we pick some more, I mean, I can freeze some of it on the cob. I do 6 in a bag. I mean, or unless you want to wait on that down there and hope it.
Just hope it makes. Yeah, we probably should freeze some of this on the cob.
Just in case.
Just in case, freeze a few bags.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
just to be on the safe side, freeze some of that so we'll have some corn on the cob. But I'm really banking on that down there across the creek making to freeze our corn. On
The
cob.
raccoons don't figure out how to get to it.
Yeah.
They gonna help me tote this in the house.
Yeah. What if I drop it all?
I might try.
Yeah, I probably would too.
All right, y'all. Well, it's been several hours later since y'all have seen us, but I got my corn all good and canned and done, and they all sealed, I believe. So I'll show you here. Had a little bit of siphoning, but that's not unusual when canning corn. That looks really good. Carrots look great. So, last but not least, I got to finish up my pickled peaches. So, the first thing I've got to do, they've been sitting for about 8.5 hours. So, I figure that's equivalent to overnight, as the directions said. So, the way I'm going to can these pickled peaches today, this is a real old-fashioned method of canning. This is not recommended, I'll just say that. Do as I say, not as I do. But the way that I'm doing it today, I gotta have my liquid and everything. It's got to be hot, hot, hot. So I've let it simmer, come to a boil until that doesn't stop when I stir it. That's how I know it's good and hot. Now, we're gonna get our peaches in our jars. Now these jars already have some peach residue on them because I got a little confused about the directions when I was trying to follow them. And then I changed my mind. So, on how I was going to do this, I have fished out all the cloves and the cinnamon sticks. Andy and I really enjoyed these. We had them with supper tonight, and they taste like nothing I've ever eaten before, honestly, but they are delicious. Got a little bite to them, I guess, from those cloves. this is one of those recipes that I definitely recommend. If you, it sounds kind of strange, pickled peaches, but I'm gonna tell you, they are great. And I recommend you trying to make you a few anyway, just to see if you like them. Well, y'all, what a productive day it has been. Corn, peaches, carrots, working in the garden. Yeah. It's going on a little after 8 o'clock, and I'm about to call it a night, y'all. Get this kitchen cleaned up, everybody's favorite part. And I guess that's going to about wrap up today's video. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope you might have learned a little something. Till we see y'all in the next one. Y'all have a good one.